Spanish Town's mayor, the People's National Party's Norman Scott, has pleaded not guilty to assault and destruction of property charges. Scott entered the plea when he appeared in the St Elizabeth Parish Court on Monday. He was ordered to return to court on November 27 by Senior Parish Court Judge Steve Walters. Mayor of Spanish Town Norman Scott entered the courtroom Monday morning after being accused of hitting a Jamaica Labour Party Election Day supervisor, Julie Francis, in the face and destroying her glasses in the process. The incident allegedly occurred on September 3 this year when the general election was held. Scott denies the allegation. He pleaded not guilty to assault and destruction of property. Ms. Francis, who it's alleged was being threatened since filing the police report, was represented in court by a team of attorneys led by King's Counsel Tom Tavares Finson.
The matter was heard today before Senior Parish Judge Mr. Steve Walters, and the matter has been put for the 27th of November, following a order by the parish judge that Mr. Scott be fingerprinted. Miss Julie Francis attended court along with a throng of Jamaica Labour Party supporters, and she was represented by a number of high-profile Jamaica Labour Party lawyers, including Mr. Donahue Martin, Nasha K. Virgo, Christian Tavares Finson, and both Julys, April and Matthew. I have applied for a fiat to prosecute the mayor.
Scott denies wrongdoing. He is being represented by Charles Gangasingh. In a terse statement Monday, Mr. Gangasingh notes, quote, "Whether Tom alone or Tom and 99 of his associates, I am fully ready to defend the matter," end quote. Scott was defeated by over 2,000 votes by the Jamaica Labour Party's Frank Witter in the Keys Southeast St Elizabeth seat in the general election. Member of Parliament Witter turned up at court Monday along with a throng of JLP supporters in support of Ms. Francis. An appeal this evening for the new Road Traffic Act, which was implemented in 2023, to be further revised. The call comes from a stakeholder in the transport sector who says the increasing number of road fatalities needs a stronger legislative response to curb reckless driving and save lives. Amoy Harriet reports.
312, the number of people killed on the nation's roads since the start of the year. Now that's already more than the number of fatalities recorded for the entire year of 2024.
The public passenger vehicle, they say we are the weapons of mass destruction. We drive fast, we drive reckless. But when you check the statistics, we are not in the top 4, top 5, top 6 groupings that cause death on our roads. Very few.
Edgerton Newman is president of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Service, TODS. He is criticizing the authorities for allowing repeat road traffic offenders to remain behind the wheel. He argues, though, that the problem runs much deeper, pointing to weaknesses in enforcement and accountability across the system.
Those reckless drivers, like some I see on social media with our buses, they should not own their license another day. Their license should be revoked. They should not be driving a PPV vehicle. But you see, the arms of the law grinds very slow. I think because maybe, and should I say this? Yes, I should. The state, the apparatus of the states who deal with the law, they own motor vehicles out there. And they're ashamed to take off because some of the drivers who drive recklessly are owned by them.
Traffic Act, do you think it's made much of a difference?
Absolutely not. Need a total review, and it needs to be done now.
Now, the new Road Traffic Act, which came into effect in February 2023, introduced a raft of measures aimed at improving road safety and discipline. Now, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz is dismissing suggestions that stricter regulations are the solution to the increasing road fatalities.
I think that has to come from a public education campaign. As you know, we have the funds now dedicated from the tickets that the ministry gets, and we're in procurement now for advertising agency. It has to be a sustained public education campaign. That's the only thing that's going to really get a change in what's happening.
Amoy Harriet reporting for CVM News.
Crime continues to trend down in Manchester with double-digit reductions in murders, shootings and assaults. But while major crimes are falling, there's been a noticeable uptick in break-ins. Akeem Aret has more in this report.
The Manchester Police Division is reporting a 40% drop in murders, 42% decline in shootings, and a 10% reduction in assaults. Commanding officer for the division, Senior Superintendent Kerry Duncan, says while the numbers are encouraging, there's a developing issue that's keeping the police on alert.
Manchester, Mandeville in particular, have always been a parish that is plagued with break-ins. And last year, we made some significant inroads in the reduction of breaking offences within the space. What we see this year happening, we're seeing a trend developing. And based on that trend, we have put some measures in place, sir, that we're now seeing a reversal in the breaking offences within the space.
Though the break-ins remain a constant issue in the parish, SSP Duncan says there are other major concerns.
We also are concerned about our missing children within the parish. We have at least one active investigation going on now with the young man from Manchester High School. That has been getting some serious attention. Our team have been out day and night, following up on all the leads that we get in order to find or to locate this young man.
Another area showing improvement is lottery scamming, which has recorded a major decline. Still, SSP Duncan says the police remain vigilant.
We took a serious drive and jab at that, and we brought in our experts from the lottery scamming task force. We came in, we made several arrests, seized a lot of money, seized a lot of vehicles. So we put them on their back in the parish.
The Manchester Police say they'll continue to focus on intelligence-led operations and community partnerships to maintain the downward trend in major crimes. Reporting for CVM News, I am Akeem Oret.
They may look like toys, but police say imitation guns are no joke. Police are raising fresh concerns this evening about the number of replica firearms being found across the island. Details from Amoy Harriet.
On Sunday, a Kingston teacher was charged after police found several imitation firearms at his home in an early morning operation. Hours later, a St Catherine man was remanded after he carried out a robbery in Portmore using an imitation firearm. Now, these incidents come weeks after a businessman and woman in St Mary were arrested when police seized 13 imitation rifles and an imitation pistol during an operation, and months after police seized several toy guns resembling real firearms from students at a St Andrew-based school.
It is fairly prevalent. We've seen it for some time and we've taken necessary action against it.
Senior Superintendent Dennis Brooks is Senior Communications Strategist in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. He's referring to the seizure of imitation guns by law enforcement. Now, under the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022, an imitation firearm is defined broadly as anything that has the appearance of a firearm, regardless of whether or not it's capable of discharging a shot, bullet, or other projectile. Now, possession of these items carries the same penalty as possession of a real firearm, which is up to 15 years behind bars. Of note, SSP Brooks says the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division has seized a number of ghost guns in the island, which is the industry classification for 3D printed firearms.
And that is a significant challenge. The greatest challenge in respect of this firearm is traceability, hence the reference as a ghost gun. And we continue to investigate the prominence of, for instance, 3D printing capabilities of firearms and firearm parts in Jamaica. But this find more recently, it brings into focus the fact that Jamaican criminals are in line with world trends.
He says the police are now being trained to respond to these world trends.
It also highlights, in my opinion, the efforts that are being made to upskill our members to be able to identify the emerging trends of modern criminal conduct and by extension go after them where they are, because on a dark night you don't really care much that this is an airsoft gun. It is an exact replica of a Glock.
SSP Brooks, in the meantime, is appealing to the public to report anyone they know to be in possession of an imitation or replica firearm.
We must be decisive in our actions where these things are concerned, and we must find them from if we can find them when persons are in possession of them rather than when they are only committing the act, then we would have prevented the committing of the act.
Amoy Howard, CVM News.
More CVM News at 7.